Hello, students. Professor Piggy here. Snout polished, hooves ready. Today we talk about accounts and how to stop the wolf from walking in like he owns the barn. Every breach starts the same way. An account that should not work still works. A password that should not exist still exists. That is how the wolf steals your bacon. Picture a farm, not a cute one, a serious farm. Every animal has a stall, a feeding schedule, and a locked gate. Regular pigs eat grain, farm managers have keys, machines run on their own timers. Now imagine no one checks the gates. Old pigs keep keys, machines run forever, and the wolf sneaks in at night. That is bad farm management. That is bad account management. When an account is active, access control methods define what the user can do, when the user can log in, where the user can log in from, and how the user authenticates. Administrators must follow the principle of least privilege. The principle of least privilege means users are granted only the permissions required to perform their job functions and no additional access. Credential policies define how accounts authenticate. They apply to people, systems, and services. Different accounts, different rules. Personnel accounts are regular end-user accounts used by employees. These accounts follow basic credential policies such as minimum password length, password history, and account lockout settings based on organizational policy. Administrator and root accounts are privileged accounts with elevated rights and permissions beyond those of regular users. These accounts require stronger authentication controls, such as multi-factor authentication and additional safeguards due to their high level of access. Service accounts are used by applications and services, not by human users. They are granted only the permissions required for the service to function. Service account credentials are managed carefully so changes do not disrupt availability. Passwords for service accounts are typically changed through controlled and coordinated processes rather than automatic expiration policies. This supports security while preventing service outages. Device and system accounts are used by computers, servers, and operating systems to authenticate within a network or directory service. These accounts are commonly managed automatically by the operating system or directory service and support secure system-to-system communication. Third-party accounts belong to external vendors or service providers that require access to internal systems or networks. These accounts must be protected with strong credential policies, restricted permissions, and regular review as part of vendor and supply chain risk management. Guest accounts provide limited temporary access without creating individual user accounts. They are usually disabled and enabled only in specific situations requiring minimal access. Shared or generic accounts are used by multiple individuals. They are discouraged for normal operations but may be used in controlled situations when individual accounts are impractical. Shared accounts must be tightly restricted and audited. Deprovisioning is the process of disabling a user account when the user leaves the organization. Disabling an account is preferred over deleting it initially. Disabling preserves encryption keys and protected data associated with the account. Deleting an account permanently removes those keys and may result in permanent data loss. Account disablement policies commonly include immediate disablement for terminated employees. They also include temporary disablement during extended leaves of absence. Accounts may be deleted after a defined period of inactivity based on organizational policy. Time-based logins restrict when users are allowed to log on to systems. If a user attempts to log in outside the allowed time window, access is denied. If a user is already logged in when the restricted time begins, the system does not log them off. However, the system prevents new network connections after the allowed time expires. Account audits review user rights and permissions to enforce the principle of least privilege. Privilege creep occurs when users accumulate permissions over time that are no longer required for their job roles. Role-based access control and group-based permissions help manage access effectively. However, permissions must be removed when roles change. Attestation is a formal process where managers review and certify that assigned permissions are necessary for a user's job responsibilities. Usage auditing records user activity in logs and supports investigation and audit trails. Permission auditing reviews ensure users have only the access they need and help detect privilege creep. Good account management locks the gates. Bad account management feeds the wolf. Protect your truffles, save your bacon. Oink.